So how much test anxiety did you suffer before that bar exam?
Well, um, let me just say this: taking the bar sucks, no matter how old you are. Okay, so yeah, I was scared to death. But I'll tell you why I was scared. Once it got out that I was taking it, I would go to court, and then people would be asking, "Hey, how'd you do on the California bar exam?" I'm like, "I haven't even taken it yet. Why do you care how I'm doing on the California bar exam?" So basically, what happened was it became sort of a a story amongst my peers because it's an amusing thing for someone to do at my age. And so I was scared only because I was afraid I'd fail the thing, and then I'd have to tell all my friends, "Yeah, I failed the bar."
Okay.
But also, I tell you when I decided to take it, I'm not saying it was a shallow decision, it was just a quick decision, but I didn't understand, I don't think, that the pass rate is so poor in California. After I sign up for it, I've announced to my partners I'm going to be studying for it at some point. Then I get on the internet and I start looking at these statistics, and I'm thinking, how the heck am I going to pass this thing?
But you did.
I got lucky.
Well, I don't know.
I
It
got
sounds
lucky.
like you studied.
Well, I did. I studied. I had to study in the morning and I had to study in the evening, and my family had to suffer as a result of that. But one of the essay questions was on criminal law, and one of them was on criminal procedure. So at least 2 out of 6 of those essays
You had
I
really.
probably could have done without studying. So I got
Okay.
lucky in that regard.
Okay. Okay. And what's the biggest difference between practicing in California compared to Texas?
If I had had this murder case in Texas, we'd have had it tried a year ago.
Okay.
Now, I don't care what county. I mean, Texas, they take the case, they investigate the case, they indict the case, we get to court. It was a painful process going through the investigation, which never would have taken that long here. It was a painful process going through the court procedures just to get to a preliminary hearing, which is different in California. In California, they require that preliminary hearing. Indictment is rarely used. The main difference is the sluggishness. As far as I can tell, that's the main difference.
Okay. Okay. Are you writing a book when this is all over?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Look, when this is all over, the odds are pretty good. I'm going to go back to my anonymous life.
Okay.
And my wife texted me today, as a matter of fact, honey, I cannot wait for this trial to be over so we can go on a beach somewhere and just forget about this.
Right.
This has been 24/7. I mean, we get 3 a.m. phone calls from the guy that runs TMZ. We get 100 emails a day still from all over the world from people. We get phone calls constantly. I don't know how they get my cell phone number. We are constantly and always under attack from those who are interested in this case. I mean, the most support I get, I mean, the good part of all this is the support I get from the lawyers in Texas. Because to some extent they have an attachment to this case because we have a Texas lawyer out there. Texas law firm handling this case. And I get tremendous amount of support from the Texas lawyers. And I can say this without reservation. If the lawyers that I see out there in California are representative, and they may not be, we clearly have superior and excellent trial lawyers here in Texas. Clearly. I mean, some of the best trial attorneys I've ever seen have been in Texas. And not just California, any state I go to, that's what I find. And I think a big reason for that is that we have a tendency to litigate cases more frequently here. We have a tendency to the process allows for that kind of competition here.
Yeah.
So, but that the support that I get from my fellow colleagues is what I appreciate the most. If I go to court, I'm going to get jabbed all the time. You know, my nickname is Hollywood. I'll walk into court, Hollywood. Judge will call out Hollywood. But everybody is pulling for us to do a good job out there. So I feel sort of a responsibility to do my very best for my friends and colleagues and the Texas lawyers.
What is your description of a perfect juror for your client?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
I think that perfect description is going to change as we progress towards trial. But once we get there, we'll know.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a jury consultant?
Can't afford one.
Okay.
We don't have any money.
Okay.
We got paid, and we have a lawyer out in California who's been retained, Michael Flanagan, outstanding reputation out in California, out in Pasadena. We have travel expenses. We've got experts that we have to pay. Clearly, this is a scientifically based defense, prosecution as well. They can afford, despite the rumors that Los Angeles is bankrupt, they can afford to spend whatever they want to, apparently. During the preliminary hearing, they flew in 2 witnesses that they could have presented their testimony quite easily through a police officer, but they chose not to, so they spent the money to do that. They have 2 lawyers that are on this, it looks like full-time. But we just don't have the money for things like jury consultants. I understand the value of a jury consultant. It'd be nice to have somebody sitting there telling me, this is a guy that you got trouble with. But we don't have the money to do the things we would really want to do. Not just jury consultants.
But you picked a lot of juries yourself, though, over the years.
Yeah, well, 250, 300 juries. So at some point, you're going to be good at identifying those jurors that you don't want. At some point, you're going to catch on. And I would hope that after 200 jury trials, you're going to get to that point. And look, I'm perfectly willing to admit that I may not be the best at making that determination in California. The population in California is a different animal than we have here in Texas. I don't know whether or not I know that the juror in Texas would look at the evidence that we're going to present and would dump this case. We have a certain, in Texas, we have a certain independence, self-reliance. I don't know whether that exists in California or not, and I have to hope that my co-counsel does, can make that determination. It'd be nice to have a jury consultant to help us with the demographics, to help us determine whether this is the type of person that probably would not think the way we want him to think. But we're on a budget, and we may go over that budget, so we can't afford those kind of luxuries.
Okay.